Okay guys, so welcome back to another tutorial, whatever BTS intro video. And today I'm going to be going over the different types of camera shots as well as, tricks and tips and blah 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 blah. I'm just gonna keep this really simple. This is not gonna be in depth or like really advanced. This is like for beginners. With how I screen record, capture all of my shots, I obviously know what shots I'm looking for, and a lot of people don't know what shots they're looking for 9 times out of 10. So I'm gonna go over the close-up, the extreme close-up, the medium shot, a wide shot, over the shoulder shot, as well as a POV shot, an overhead shot, and an under view shot. Those are just very like simple shots that you can capture, like, basically like a film, a movie, a show, or whatever, but this is gonna be in game. So let us get started with somebody. All right, so before I show you guys, I wanted to go over one thing. So there's this term that is used in photography as well as film, and it is called the rule of thirds. And what that essentially means is, it's basically dividing an image into thirds using, two horizontal and vertical lines. Our subject is usually always closest to the farthest either right side or left side, depending on whatever shot you're getting. So in other words, when you position your most important subject in the intersection points, on the other side, you create that space. You create that negative space. And when your subject is in between these points, it gives it a more natural look. It puts emphasis on your subject, and it just honestly makes everything look cleaner and look more cinematic and just look more put together and drives the story more. So that's all it really does. Instead of having her just dead center. I mean, I didn't really need her dead center for that shot, but instead I followed the rule of thirds where she is in between the intersection points and she's on the intersection points, and then the other space, there's basically nothing else there, but it gives it more of a cinematic feel, look. There's more emphasis on the shot itself. And so, I mean, this can easily be a regular medium shot right here. So I'm just gonna play it for you so you guys see how this looks. Hopefully she doesn't move. Yeah. Now, if I wanted to get a close-up on the food, I mean, I can scroll down and this will be like a close-up on the food, so to speak. Again, it depends on the image, so I would say that this is a close-up. Extreme close-up is when you see everything, you see all the details. Obviously this is Sims, so right here this would be like a close-up shot. Right now she just took the food, so let me just show you guys another example. By the way, to get into camera mode, press tab. If you haven't seen the previous tutorials, then yeah, press tab to get into camera mode. If I wanted to do an overhead shot, this is how it would look. So pretty much, hold on, let me just get my stuff right. So like this is like an overhead shot of the food, like how you see on those tutorials, those food tutorials where you see the overshot, you see the food getting made. This is an example of an overhead shot right here. That food looks so stupid and ugly, but it'd be like that. And even if you wanted to do like a POV of, a sim looking down at the food, what you can do, I press tab to get out, and I'm gonna press shift tab to get her POV. You hold down shift and you press tab, and that's how I got into the POV area of this sim. Then I press tab, and you can even zoom in or zoom out depending on your preference, and here we are. Look at that. Oh, sometimes you have like little defects. You just have to move it around. See, there you go. And you can see the sim is eating her food. And it's a great POV shot. If you ever wanted to get like, you know, a point of view shot, by the way, that is what POV means. If you ever wanted to get a shot like that, you can always get it by doing this. And you can even control the sim, so like you can look down as well with your mouse or your trackpad or whatever you're using. Yep. So basically right now, what I'm going to go over is called an over-the-shoulder shot. It's a very simple shot of when two people are talking together, or, you know, and you see like a view of over the shoulder of the other person. So I'm just gonna set that up right now. And I'm getting my teleporter destination. So I'm gonna put two sims right here. Well, they're gonna be teleported here in a minute. So you can see what I'm talking about. Let's move this back. It's too far. Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna animate. I'm just gonna pick some animations because I don't have time to have them to interact. Just do that. Alright, so I just animated them and you're gonna see. Let's just pause this for a second and go into tab. Actually, before I go into tab, I always like to make sure I have my my shot before I go into tab. Just because it's just really, it's easier to maneuver. So right here, as you can see, this is essentially the over shoulder shot right here. Let's see, right here. Great. All right, so as you can see, I just basically did this. So what I did was, point A was right here, so I pressed Control 5, and then of course I came over to the other side like you saw, which was this side, and then I pressed Control 6, which is point B. And so if I press 5, you'll see it, of course, doing a little, it'll move, doing its little animation or whatever. So this is an over-the-shoulder shot. As you can see, again, I try to follow the rule of the thirds. And again, this varies a lot of the times when you have two subjects talking to each other to show that they are talking to each other. There's so much that actually goes into this in terms of like storytelling and development. So this is essentially the over-the-shoulder shot right here. Right here. So since I'm working on this side, and if I wanted to show her reacting to what he's saying, this will be my shot for her since she's idle. And now let me pause it. And if I want to show the dynamic between the two, for him talking, I would come over to this side since I was on the opposite side of her. So like right here, that will be my next point. And so as you can see, if I were to take this into Premiere and edit it, you will see the difference. So also, you know, there are many variations and forms of overhead overview shots that you can utilize in your game. So if you wanted to just get, you know, an overview or an overhead of your home, your house, hit tab, you know, simply go like this, very self-explanatory. And that right there is an overview shot. So again, knowing how to do all of these things, it's very simple. It's a matter of knowing your shots, knowing your angles in your scenes, knowing what shots you want to get for your scenes. Also, it can help to make a shot list if you wanted to do something like that. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you don't need a shot list. A shot list is basically a list composed of the scenes, the scene number, as well as the description of what's in your scene, so you know what you're going to be recording or filming, and the duration, if you want to put the duration and be that specific. A lot of people aren't that specific. And of course the angle, or the type of shot it is. All of that is compiled into a whole list that basically helps, but that's usually used for bigger productions. If you're doing this little stuff here, I mean, you don't necessarily need that. If you know what you're looking for, that's just a whole new, that's just a little too advanced, especially if it's just something really quickly. But if you even wanted to come out and see the whole town, of course you do all this stuff here. I mean, if you wanted to get this type of shot too, you can easily do it by just pressing tab, coming all the way out, zooming out, and you can come around. Or even if you wanted to get something along the lines of so for example, if you even wanted to get a shot like this, you can simply do it again, knowing your points, control 5, control 6, 7, and 8, and so on. And then you can even do like that. See, again, this is this is one of those things where it's if you have an eye for it, as well as knowing about the types of shots and knowing about your angles and knowing what makes a shot look good, I suggest watch some movies, watch a TV show, know how they're filmed, and try to mimic that, so to speak. But I'm just going over basic shots. I'm not going that much into a whole, not yet. That'll probably be for another video for people who already are aware. But I feel if people already are aware, then they won't really want to watch this video. So now what we're going to go over, I'm gonna be showing you how to get that under view shot. So at first I struggled with this because I didn't know how to do it, and it was really hard because there's only so much you can do in the game, and sometimes if you create a stage and go underneath, sometimes you can get that under view or that cool shot, but a lot of times that's not possible. So I don't know if you guys saw my stripping video where there was an underview of the girl twerking. So I'm just gonna give you an example and show you how I did that. So this is a trick and tip and whatever that I use just to get this angle. So I'm just gonna show you. Okay. So I put 2 of these teleporters here. So let me see if this will work. Alright, so I'm gonna put him there, and I'm gonna put her there. Alright, so I'm just gonna have him do a pose where he's on the ground, if that makes sense. If I can find it. Okay, so sleep on floor. I'm having him do a pose where he's on the ground. And I'm basically gonna have her do a twerk or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Alright. Alright, so basically you see where she is. You see how she's over him. And again, going back to that point of view, I'm gonna press Shift and Tab. And as you can see what's going on. but obviously this shot looks crazy. So again, now I'm pressing tab, and what I can do is I can zoom in. And then of course press and you see how that is the under view shot. Again, I can always zoom in as well. I have full control with the zoom in, so it looks kind of cool. As you can see. Alright, so now he's getting up, so it looks distorted. But that's one of the tricks that I definitely did on my own just to get an underview shot. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. If you know any other tips or tricks, let me know. Feel free. But that's a trick that I use to get the underview shot. So sometimes for extreme close-ups, it's kind of hard to really get that extreme close-up look. If any of you watched Sweet Tooth, there was a scene where I did close in on Liam's eyes as well as Sweet Tooth's eyes. I did an extreme close-up there. So I'm just gonna show you what I did. This is obviously not the same way, but it's literally similar. So I have my two subjects right here, and I just have them doing an animation. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into POV mode on this sim. I'm gonna press Shift and Tab, and so right now I see what's in front of me. And again, I can move my mouse or whatever on my trackpad, whatever you have, trackpad or mouse, and I can like basically figure it out, like what I want to do. Sometimes this moves because whatever the animation is, it will move on its own, like it just did just now. So to get that close up, I just zoom in. I keep pressing the plus sign on my keyboard. And for some reason, this doesn't limit you like how it does in when you go into camera mode. This does not limit you. So if I wanted to go in her eye, I can. So I can get that look right there, and just screen record that right there. So as you can see, that's what I did. I go for extreme close-ups, I use POV mode, and that's how I get, oh, see, I'm moving my mouse too much. See, and that's how I get that look. And if I wanted something more in-depth, I can do that. I can even go in more if I really wanted to. So yeah, this is an example of an extreme close-up right here. So I'm gonna show you guys an example of how I kind of got that POV shot in Sweet Tooth of basically Liam and Sweet Tooth looking at their computer screen, and we see like the POV as if the camera is in the computer screen. I found with computers like this, or with like specific CC, it was very hard to achieve just like, you know, the look of Liam on the computer, or just a sim on the computer, and that point of view, that angle from the computer was very hard to achieve depending on what kind of computer is in the game that you're using or the CC. So what I did was so I put the teleporter here, and then I'm gonna put another sim here. Just to show you guys an example, I'm just gonna use animations for now. So we'll just teleport him here. And what I had him do, just so he was on the same eye level, was I had him do like a sitting pose and had him be idle so that he wasn't talking or doing anything crazy, just sitting still. And now I'm gonna teleport her here and show you. So what I did for this is I'm just gonna have her sit and talk, honestly. Okay, so as you can see, you see how they look. And now I'm just gonna go Shift Tab, and you see that look as if it's from the angle and the camera view of the computer. which is really cool, which is a really cool trick that I decided to do. Um, to just make it just, I don't know, it just looks better, because sometimes you're blocked by walls and you're blocked by the CC and you can't get that angle and that shot and that look that you want. So this is what I did to achieve that look. If you guys saw Sweet Tooth, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it was really cool when I edited it and put it all together. So there you go. All right, so again, I'm not really gonna go over every single shot in detail. This is pretty much a basic overview of, you know, simple shots. I wanted to go over the slide shot with you, or slider shot with you guys. And this is more like just like the camera movement, so to speak. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with a slider. So basically, a slider is very self-explanatory. It's a device a lot of the times used in film where they put the camera on a slider and it goes from left to right. Either that's like um going from back to front or left to right. It doesn't really matter what angle. But I'm gonna show you like how it looks in terms of like the camera effect. um Again, also with the cameras, I realize these cameras have different effects. So like this is the Sims 4 camera where you get to have like this more in front of your face type of angle, but then the Sims 3 camera is more of a, like an overhead type of angle. So a lot of the times I use like the Sims 4, especially if I'm getting like these types of shots or closing in pretty much. So I'm just gonna show you an example. So I'm gonna press tab. Let me just make sure I'm in all the way. All right, so I'm in all the way. I'm gonna go back, press tab. All right, and this is somewhat in the center. Every like shot differs, but for something like this, so I'm gonna just hit control. I guess I want to start right here, because it's annoying me because she's not like fully centered, but whatever, that's the best it's gonna be. So control 5, this is my first point, and she's gonna be animated. So, and then control 6 is my second point. So I'm gonna press control 5, and then now I'm gonna play it so you see how she looks. And so this would be like an example of like that slider shot, so to speak. I mean, you can always play around with this. Again, probably use another sim to sit down or to pretend to sit down at the end of the table and do like a cool look with that too. So there's just so many things that you can do. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope that this was somewhat helpful and informative. If you have any questions, feel free to definitely comment below your questions, or if you have any suggestions or tips for me, feel free to leave them for me. It would definitely help for you guys to watch some movies or TV shows, and you can actually see on how specific shots tell a story. And how they make you feel, and you know, emotional response and reaction, all that stuff. All of that stuff is included in how you basically record your shots, film them, and all that stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye.